If you didn't know much about laptops, you'd probably take one look at the Lenovo LOQ and just assume it was a regular old ThinkPad, and that's exactly what I was looking for. You see, I work from home the majority of the time, but there are situations where I'm asked to go visit a client or a partner. So in the boardroom, I don't want to open up my bag and pull out a gaudy looking gaming laptop with alien looking cases and multicolored LEDs. What I wanted was a laptop that provided decent gaming power, but one that definitely looked like it belonged in the corporate boardroom. And for the most part, I think the Lenovo LOQ pulls this off. For $600, I got a capable CPU, an NVIDIA 5050 GPU, 16 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM that's easily expandable to 32 gigabytes, and 1 terabyte of SSD storage with an empty slot to add a secondary SSD if I want. Now, I won't sugarcoat this. There are some trade-offs that I'm having to deal with. For one, the LOQ is heavier than the ThinkPads that I'm used to. It's not an issue for most days as I work from home, but taking it on international trips, I'll likely notice the extra poundage. The other big negative for me is that the laptop is fairly power hungry. That's why Lenovo ships it with a fairly large 170 watt power supply. And that power supply does not use a USB-C plug like most laptops, including all ThinkPads being sold today. But the good news is that the single USB-C port on the LOQ is power delivery capable. So if I wanted to bring a smaller USB-C power supply at say 100 watts or more, I shouldn't have any issues running out of juice. Okay, so you've been watching my son do the unboxing to show you what's inside. And honestly, you don't get much other than the laptop, power supply, and a few basic information leaflets. But that's not surprising considering this is a $600 budget laptop. But in terms of look, fit, and finish, I have to say this feels as quality as any ThinkPad I've used over the last few years. We'll spin the LOQ around now and show you the ports. On the left side you get one USB-A port, one USB-C port with power delivery, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and a switch to toggle the built-in 720p webcam. On the back you get an RJ45 gigabit Ethernet port, two USB-A ports, and an HDMI port. And on the right side, there's nothing. So honestly, the number of ports is somewhat limiting, but it's good enough for my needs. I should also point out that the LOQ comes with a Wi-Fi 6 chip, but is easily upgradable. Also, the 1080p 15.6-inch IPS display is pretty nice, but it's not going to come close to as nice as the more expensive OLED screens. After using the Lenovo LOQ for about 2 weeks, my favorite utility aspect of the laptop is the buttery smooth keyboard. The key presses are perfect with the right amount of travel. Even the trackpad is good. It's much better than I expected. And finally, for those of you that are looking at the LOQ but are worried about it being too bulky, here's a side-by-side comparison with the 14-inch ThinkPad. As you can see, the LOQ is about 1 inch taller and about 1.5 inches wider. It's also a bit chunkier, but not by much. For me, I think the LOQ strikes a perfect balance, giving me the stealth gaming laptop I've always wanted. That's it for now, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And also, please consider subscribing to Trictus.